So LEGO just announced that the first Ideas 2025 review period has ended, which lasted from the 1st of January to the 5th of May. So there's 3 per year. And I'm going to tell you which out of these 57 projects I think will become a set, which might happen in 2026, might happen in 2027. So let's see, it's the Taylor Swift house as the first one. This Lover house has been submitted many times before and has been denied all those other times, so I don't know why they would change that now. Maybe in the future, but it seems like LEGO's too burnt from the BTS set selling kind of poorly that they're not touching much of these musician sets. But yeah, cool project, just not for me, and I don't really think it will be made. The Medieval Knight set by Truman Bricks has a really cool sculpture of this medieval knight. I like the design. That almost gives me the color scheme of LEGO Fantasy Castle Knights from 2007 to 2009. So I do like that design, but I don't know if this will be made. I think it's too niche a sculpture. I don't know. I think that would be like a medium likelihood though, and I think it has more of a chance than the Lover house. This jukebox with Bluetooth speaker is actually something that I think might be made. LEGO loves making these retro builds for stuff that were iconic in the past. They even had a whole contest, which we covered in another video. This design is something that not only pays tribute to something very iconic to the past, but it's something that could actually work. It has a Bluetooth speaker, and I think they will like that double-edged sword of a Bluetooth speaker of this lovely design that's a retro item and object. So far, I think out of everything we've seen, this has the strongest likelihood. We have Love Enlighten Me, the bench of the lampposts in love, which I believe is an Italian sculpture. This design is very distinct and says a lot about love and acceptance. And you can see the color scheme where we have these 2 lamps, which almost have like a black and white color scheme. But then you have that bench, which has a design that has color to it. And I think that's something that LEGO might like. So I think while LEGO would like the message, I think they might avoid this because it's something that I don't think is well known around the world. And they want something with iconicity that was like, oh, okay, this is like a famous art piece that the whole world can recognize. For example, we just got the Keith Haring set revealed, and that's something where it's like, okay, that's an artist that the whole world knows about. This seems a little bit more to a regional knowledge in Italy. Maybe I'm completely off base there, but yeah, lovely build. I don't know if they'll pick that, but I don't think it's the least likely thing out there. Then we have Twice Fancy. I don't know what this is. This is a music video, a popular K-pop group. Okay. So as I figured it would be like a musical group thing. And again, BTS didn't sell too well, it seems like. I do not think they would touch Twice because not even I have heard about Twice. And they want something that's well known by the public. So like, yeah, Taylor Swift has more of a chance than Twice Fancy. Cool build though. Then we have Portal 2, the core replacement system. I wish they would do a LEGO Portal buildable set that isn't LEGO Ideas, but we've gotten multiple LEGO Ideas projects like this denied, so I don't know if that's going to change this time around, especially since, unfortunately, it seems like Portal has fallen off from being talked about as much as it used to even like 5 years ago, where we did get a lot of submissions from LEGO Ideas. I mean, back in the day, like I think it was like around 2013, 2014, we had that Thinking with Portals, which was something that almost made it to review. It was in what nowadays would be called the parking lot, where basically they have to wait and see if they're actually going to do it, but it didn't get denied right away in the review period announcements. So yeah, I don't think this will be made, unfortunately, but it does look cool, and I would love LEGO Portal. Then we have the NOLINOR Boeing 737-200. I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of different aircraft vehicle sets. I mean, literally as I'm recording this, there was one revealed today. This design is interesting because I don't know why. Look at that. New, or sorry, old and then new. Why are there 2 different designs for the project page? I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I don't know if they want to do this right away, but more so as like literally, I don't have much insight into the world of aviation, so I can't say, oh, this one won't be made because of this specific thing or that specific thing. And I also don't have much interest into these large scale aircraft models, so I can't really say, oh yeah, this part was denied, because I don't even remember which ones were denied for ideas. So that one is one I can't really talk on. Then we have E.T., the Extra-Terrestrial, which is a buildable E.T. Now, we did get a LEGO E.T. set with LEGO Dimensions, which had a minifigure E.T. that I love to this day. I think this has a possibility. I don't think it has the highest possibility because, unfortunately, E.T. has a design that's not, like, straight up adorable. They love making adorable space creatures this one might be a little bit, I hate to say, I'm sorry, ET, ugly. But that's not a knock on the build. I mean, ET is just a non-adorable creature, Which I'm so sorry. ET's staring at me all sad, and I can't go on. I think if this was a cute alien, they would be more inclined to make it. But ET is iconic enough, and this build is great, that I don't think it's the least likely thing. I think there's a chance, but it's kind of in the middle. If this was like a baby Grogu, which we've got a billion times, it would be approved. I mean, like if they never approved it before, because we've gone a billion times, like I said. Heartstopper, Be Yourself. So this is a queer Netflix show from my understanding, which I've heard recommendations. This is something where I don't know if LEGO will make this, because it seems like they've really slowed down on the queer sets. I mean, yeah, we had the Keith Haring set, which is not an inherently queer piece if you don't know what's going on there, but if you look into it, it is. So maybe I'm wrong there, but we had those two bursts with the Everyone is Awesome set and the Queer Eye set, and unfortunately LEGO faced a lot of backlash for those, but I don't think that's why they're backing down. Rather, it seems like LEGO's pulling away from some diversity and inclusion initiatives and things like that, and are maybe a bit too scared to make another queer set that's straight up like, okay, we're promoting some queer ideas here, which I think is sad. I don't think they should hold back on that stuff. I would like this to be made, but I think it has a low possibility considering all of that. And I also think it has a low possibility because Heartstopper isn't the most well-known show out there, and rarely do we get LEGO show sets. However, what I do think has a much higher possibility is a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air set. This is a very well-known sitcom, and a very beloved sitcom, and also it's something that I think will be aided in the diversity and inclusion initiative, because while LEGO doesn't have too much diversity and inclusion with LEGO sets for gay people, they have diversity and inclusion with LEGO sets for black people. And this is a black-led project where we don't really see that from LEGO. Like, seriously, name like a movie or TV show from LEGO that was black-led. Black Panther, Piece by Piece, can't think of much else. And I think that's something that LEGO wants to fill in. I would love this as a set. I used to like the show growing up, and I think the build for this is one of the more interesting sitcom sets, and I also love all the minifigures. The only thing that would be holding it back, I guess, would be the controversies with Will Smith with the slap and everything, but I think this idea is divorced enough from Will Smith being the sole center of this project that I think it has a chance to be made. So far, I think this would be the most possible licensed one that we reviewed in this period so far. Then we have the LEGO DNA Double Helix History. This design is something that we just got in that STEM set, even though people were saying it wasn't accurate to a T. So this is a more accurate design. I don't know if they'll do it because of that STEM set. I think they're going to be like, okay, yeah, we covered that in the STEM set. So I would say that's a pretty low possibility. LEGO La Catrina, which is another, I was going to say art piece, but more so this is like a cultural icon to Mexico. I really love the build here. I mean, the dress build and the skull build are just so impressive, and having that blend of the dress with that actual like skeleton is cool. I don't know if that's too niche to a specific country for it to be made, but I don't know, maybe this is iconic enough that it would be something made. So I'm kind of in the middle with it. I think there's a possibility there. There's the Mushrooms Collection, which the design of this has different mushroom builds. I would love this to be made. This is going to be weird though. I feel like LEGO would avoid this because first off, they don't want to get it mixed up with, oh, we're doing psychedelics, because LEGO's very, very iffy on doing stuff promoting drugs. And then second off, I think that they don't want to promote the idea of people, going around and trying to pick up mushrooms and stuff like that, because a lot of them can be poisonous if you eat them, some of them if you touch them. So I don't know if they want to make it because of those reasons, because they always put kids first and foremost. However, maybe I'm completely off base there. I'm going to admit, I'm an idiot. You probably heard some idiotic statements in this video already. So I think that's a low possibility. And if you disagree, be polite in the comments, and I want to hear what you think. Smurf Village. This is something where I'm amazed we still haven't gotten Lego Smurfs. Like, it's been this long. This build with the mushrooms is distinct enough for a mushroom house that I think, okay, they're not like promoting the research of mushrooms and everything there, mycology. These are mushroom houses. Yes, I even thinking about the last project I talked about. Yes, there's mushrooms in Lego sets, but I don't know. Like something specifically for the research of mushrooms feels a little bit like they wouldn't do it. This, we've got mushroom houses for Mario. I think the builds are distinct enough, and I do think that the property is well known enough worldwide, especially with a movie coming out this summer. They're probably going to want to do this set. So I think this one has a high possibility, maybe second highest after Fresh Prince for licenses in this review so far. Ramen. I love ramen. JK, I actually don't love ramen. I'm kind of mid on ramen, which is uncouth. I know. I'm a foodie who's mid on ramen. I love this build, though. This build is awesome. I love seeing the different food in there built. There you go. You got some mushrooms again. Oh, they won't do this because it's promoting eating. Yeah, okay. The design of the noodles there is great, and also the design of those eggs is awesome. I'm digging this a lot, and I think this is a distinct enough build and something that's universally loved and universally acknowledged that I think this has a possibility. Out of all the buildable food, like I'm like, okay, this could be made. So yeah, I'd say this one's on the higher possibilities of this review so far. Ancient Roman temple. I'd love for them to make this, but they have denied it before from these review periods. I don't know if there's some history there that they don't want to get too into, but yeah, I don't know. I would love to see this built. It is distinct enough from other Lego sets, so I don't have too much of a stance on this. I think maybe in the middle. Again, it seems like maybe this is the historical moment they don't want to go into too much, but maybe I'm completely wrong there. I've just seen it denied before, and it is absent from so many sets. Okay, then we got Ascensor Da Bica, which I probably butchered. I cannot speak Portuguese. So this is a Portuguese scene, a scene from Portugal, and this is something that has such a distinct build with that sloped track there. I'm going to be totally wrong with the naming here of the tram, the houses at the background, but I think they're going to want to wait on this because they have the Italian Riviera coming out, and I think they want to see how that's going to do before they announce more of these city scenes. But I think if this person resubmitted it in the future, this could be made. Beautiful, beautiful build. I love this one, but I think this one has a low possibility for now. Maybe I'm totally off base there. Then we have RNLI Shannon class lifeboat. I don't know. I think this is maybe a bit too specific of a niche to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to make the Lego RNLI Shannon class lifeboat set. Maybe I'm completely off base there, but I don't know if it's something that has so much of a market appeal. And again, that's something that matters. Not to say the build ain't great though. Well, Roman bath. This would be awesome to get, but I think they maybe want to avoid the ideas of a bathhouse. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong there. But I feel like Lego's just too afraid to do some of these things. The design of this looks beautiful though. Love the structure and I love the interior. Apple Store. Sorry, this is the first time I'm seeing this Apple Store. This is insane, but in a cool way. I love the design of that color scheme at the back there with like kind of a rainbow design, but also how modern and fruitager arrow this looks. This is great, but it is just straight out of corporate America. This is nostalgic to me, maybe for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I don't know if this will be made though, because they never make stores anymore. Like, the last one we got was the Toys R Us store, if you're not counting Lego brand stores. They've denied every Lego Ideas store submission, so I don't think it's going to be made. The Ohio State University Marching Band. Oh, this was definitely one that was like probably promoted within the Ohio State Marching Band community, the Ohio State community, OSU. I love this, but I don't think this will be made. Like, what was that old one? Like something Pete from like way back in the day of one, was it Purdue Pete? The one that was like, voted within the college system, and Lego denied that right away. There's too niche of an appeal there. But then again, we got like the sports stadiums, which they don't do anymore. So I guess those weren't as successful, but there's still this tiniest sliver of hope there. The periodic table of elements. I think this is something that they might want to make. There's been so many, like not ripoffs, but fan creations and fan products of the periodic table, like Lego colors and stuff like that. But this one being the periodic table of elements, I think has appeal there. But also, there's not too much to like a build in terms of like, oh yeah, I'm going to build the periodic table of elements, and maybe they, but we do get those art pieces. This one isn't really much of an art piece. It's just this black frame and then all of these printed tiles. So I don't know. I don't know. There's a lower possibility for that. Bob Ross, which has been on LEGO Ideas project reviews before. The design of this is a beautiful, beautiful art piece. I don't know if they'll do this because, again, it seems like that's something that's just been denied by LEGO Ideas before. I think it's hard to sell a Bob Ross, say this would be probably like $150 set, because it's something that people buy for the character, and then they're going to have to be buying this whole set of this painting at the background, which the painting is beautiful, but it's not as iconic as Bob Ross himself. So I don't think this has a high possibility. All the Bob Ross things I see at like Barnes & Noble and stuff are very cheap product. So if this was like a very small diorama, maybe it'd have more of a possibility. Then we have the civil engineering types of bridges revisited. This is a really cool idea. I don't know if this has mass appeal though, and I think they want to do something with a little bit more wide appeal. The different structures for the bridges are nice though. Then you got Golden Girls. This is a design that is actually a lot smaller than the other sitcom sets. Like, you could probably nail this one out for like $50 nowadays. I don't know if Golden Girls even has the appeal of, say, Fresh Prince nowadays. It seems like Golden Girls was really having a resurgence in popularity of merchandise and stuff like in the mid 2010s. Now I don't see too much hype around like the products and stuff like that. But I don't know, lower possibility if you ask me. Kinetic Tin Toy. Oh, this is cool. Does this have like a play feature? It must have a play feature. Let's see. Okay. As reflective or play features of early tin toys, you could push it forward or backward, so it has some articulation. I thought there would be like, I don't know, wind up or something like that. Maybe that's like antithetical to what this is going for. I do think this is a cool design, but I do think that's also like a little bit niche. If it was like a specific toy, maybe, but then LEGO really doesn't do idea sets based off of toys from competitors and things like that. So I don't think that has much of a possibility, even though it's a cool set. The Old Man and the Sea. This is like a classic art piece, and the design for this looks so stark. I just don't know if the art piece itself is as well known as some of the other art pieces LEGO has done. You know, for LEGO Ideas, we got Starry Night before, but I don't think this is on the level of Starry Night in terms of recognizability. I'd love this to be made, but I don't think it will be made. Then we have Big Mouth Billy Bass. This is almost a toy from a competitor, right? Yeah, because I'm like, this was a licensed thing. And I think there's some iconicity there, and it does appeal to that retro products niche that I talked about before. Not really niche, but like sub theme that LEGO has been doing for ideas. That this one has a higher possibility than a lot of the stuff in this what is it called, in this LEGO Ideas review. The movement there is very interesting. It's again functional. There's a whole gear system and power functions in here. So that's really cool, and yeah, I think this has a possibility because there's some iconicity there, and it is something that is a very interesting build and something that LEGO hasn't done before, something that's recognizable. Yeah. So yeah, this Daft Punk concert is awesome. I wish LEGO would do Daft Punk, but it is something that they've denied before on LEGO Ideas, and yeah, I don't know. This was like, I think before even BTS and everything. And especially with that set, like I said, I think musical sets like this are kind of in the back burner for now, or, held off for now is the proper phrasing. So I don't think they'll approve this, but I would love to see them approve this. I mean, Daft Punk makes some great music. The design of this Appa, the Sky Bison, is one that we get recommended a lot, submitted a lot, and unfortunately denied a lot. I love the build here. I would love LEGO Avatar. The slimmest of chances that there's a new movie coming out next year for Avatar, so maybe the timing's trying to be, or maybe it's something they're trying to time with a new entry of the property, and it is one that will feature Aang. So yeah, I think this one has a low possibility, but seeing how LEGO has denied this so many times before, I don't know if I should get my hopes up too high. It's like a LEGO Gravity Falls situation where they keep denying it. Mediterranean restaurant. Oh, I love a LEGO restaurant. I don't know if they would do this though, because LEGO just doesn't really approve too many buildings from ideas, especially something as niche specific as a Mediterranean restaurant. I mean, it's not technically a modular from my understanding, looking at this here, but yeah, I think it's just a little bit too specific to a certain building. They don't even do buildings anymore, but I love the design of this so much. Usually if they do buildings, it will be something, kind of showing a different type of thing outside of the city, or showing, something from a licensed property. Then again, we got the Italian Rivera set coming, so who knows? Maybe I'm completely wrong there, but I think this one has a low possibility. The Halloween house, I love this, but especially with that Creator Haunted House coming out, I don't think they'll put this one out. So yeah, unfortunate. Jellyfish Collection, I love Jellyfish. I don't know if this one will be approved. We have a couple of animal idea sets coming in the pipeline, and I think they're going to hold off for now with the Jellyfish, but maybe in the future, I think this one has a chance. Disney's Phineas and Ferb, Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. I'm totally saying that off tune. This design has more of a chance to Gravity Falls. Unfortunately, I like Gravity Falls more than Phineas and Ferb, but both I think are good shows from the Disney Channel. Because Phineas and Ferb just came back, so it's still something that airs with new episodes. And plus, it's something a little bit more recognizable than Gravity Falls, unfortunately. It has more mass appeal. The thing that makes this unlikely, though, is that it's a huge building, and I don't think they want to make such an expensive set for Phineas and Ferb. They're definitely going to want to do something that can appeal to kids and adults, so it'd probably be something a lot cheaper. Now, of course, back in the day, we had a canceled Phineas and Ferb board game set. Even that didn't make it into the market. So if that didn't make it, I don't know if this one has much of a chance. If it was a smaller build, it would probably have more of a chance. And maybe we would see a Lego idea set that wasn't restricted to 18 plus after they introduced the 18 plus line, which would be crazy. Peter Rabbit and the Garden, which we've seen a Peter Rabbit Lego Ideas project. I don't know if it's gotten denied yet. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't think this will be made. I think the property just doesn't have too much activity going on, and it's not something that will be selling sets like hotcakes, like say Peanuts, which was just announced as a Lego set recently. Love the build here, but yeah, I don't think this has a possibility, unfortunately. The Junkyard with working magnet crane. See, this is the type of building, quote unquote, that might have a chance in making it as a Lego Ideas set. It is something that I'm looking at right here. They used the tow mater piece for a very tow mater looking tow truck. They are not going to be using that in this actual set. It would be an unlicensed set. But yeah, it's such a distinct and outside of the city structure per se that I think this has a chance. It's something we don't really see from Lego. However, they did have a scrapyard recently from City, so I don't know if there's some overlap there. I don't think it has the highest possibility, but I do think it has a higher possibility than a lot of the city-based builds that we've seen in this review so far. Not that there was many. Then there's Muppets, Statler, and Waldorf's balcony key rack. This is funny because it's a balcony with a little key rack doubling in, and you got Statler and Waldorf, which I love those two characters. I love the Muppets, but I don't know. They are very iconic. I mean, heck, they were even in the Video Game Awards recently or whatever the heck they're called. And I think that Lego might worry about selling something that's like an actual key rack that is within this ideas theme, because they're going to have to make sure that this has a lot of support going on, that this will stick onto the wall. Maybe I'm totally wrong there. I mean, look, Starry Night, I think, had some wall support aspects in terms of like, okay, yeah, you could hang this up. So maybe that's a total like misjudgment for me, but I think that whole idea is going to require more than just a Lego Ideas release, and they're going to have to maybe make some specialized pieces or something there. Again, maybe I'm totally off base. I can't say it enough. I am probably making some stupid judgments in this video, but you know, whatever. You came here for my thoughts. E.T. the Extraterrestrial, another E.T. build. We got one sort of like this in a Project Ideas review, but it was denied as well. I love this design. I think it's so cool. I would love them to make this, but if the previous one got denied, I don't know why they would approve this one. Maybe, you know, 2 times the charm. I mean, again, there's been many idea sets that were denied multiple times before, and then they approved it on a certain go around. I think that one has a lower possibility because of the past, but I don't know. Maybe there's a chance. Go Power Rangers, the Megazord. This is something, I don't know if it's owned by, was it owned by Mattel or Hasbro? Maybe I'm totally wrong there. But this is a property that is pretty dang iconic. And I do think there's a nostalgia there for that 90s show that is captured here. But yeah, I don't know if there's some licensing issues going on. If there isn't like a competing toy line that has it, like if it's Hasbro, there's a chance. I mean, we had a Hasbro idea set before. But if it's Mattel, I don't know if there's much of a chance because Mattel and Lego don't really get along, it seems like. But if it's just like a specific media company owning this, I think there's much more of a chance because there's that nostalgia going on there. The build can be done without it being super expensive, even though it is one of those large mechs, which we see as expensive sets. You know, we got Voltron even from LEGO Ideas. So yeah, I'd say this is like a middle possibility. I love the minifigs. And then the Holiday Rosehill Rosehill Cottage. I don't know. Is this like The Holiday, like the movie The Holiday? World of the Holiday. Is this? Yeah, one of my favorite holiday. That's such a specific. Oh my gosh, that's such a specific movie. Like, I've never seen a build for The Holiday, that movie. I don't know if it has so much of an appeal in modern day. Like, yeah, it's a relatively popular holiday movie, but like you have more of a chance of even doing like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation House, because I think that one is one of those that they spam on Christmas, or the even more chance than that would be A Christmas Story house. I think the holiday isn't on that level just yet, but maybe I'm totally misjudging there. But yeah, interesting to see that. It is so different from other movie buildings I've seen from these ideas reviews ever, but I think this has a lower possibility. Coraline, the Pink Palace. This is something that keeps getting submitted. I think we're getting closer and closer, especially with the Coraline movie doing so well on re-release recently, which I think it was like one of the highest grossing re-release movies for an animated movie, or maybe it was just an animated stop motion movie. So yeah, I think there's a possibility, maybe this time's a charm. And I think eventually we will get a LEGO Ideas Coraline set. Like, I think that is something we will get in like the next 5 years. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think this sitcom almost is on that level. It's like Parks and Rec, where it's almost on that level to get a set, but it's just not quite there. You know, we got The Office, we got Seinfeld, we got Friends. Those are huge sitcoms on another level than Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The lowest one would be like Big Bang Theory, but I still think that's a much more popular show than Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But that was made more towards the, I guess, prime of that show going on. The other ones were made after the shows ended. So yeah, I think this one has much less a possibility than Fresh Prince, but I don't think it's like completely impossible. The Mini Moog analog synthesizer. Oh my gosh, you know, we are going on with some more musical builds right here. I mean, this is a very famous synthesizer. Okay, yeah, I'm acting like I know everything about this. I'm just a fan of Wendy Carlos, okay? So this design, I wonder if it might be a little bit too niche to have as a LEGO Ideas set. I mean, we do get instruments and everything, but I think they would want something that like actually works when it comes to like a synthesizer. Not to say that the other musical instruments actually work. And I think like a synthesizer is less flashy to display than say like a guitar and things like that. So I don't know if this has a high possibility, but I love the idea there. Book Nook, the Story Laboratory. I think with LEGO actually releasing the Book Nook sets recently, they're not going to want to do a LEGO Ideas Book Nook, especially one that's just kind of like a random thing that's not like tied to a specific property. I do like the idea here, but yeah, I don't think this has too much a high possibility. Working Cuckoo Clock. This is something that I could see made, because it's like, okay, it works, you know, it has that functionality to it, but it's something that is a very recognizable retro item, the Cuckoo Clock. So yeah, I think this plays into some of the things that LEGO Ideas is looking for, and I think the build's very impressive too. So yeah, I'd say this has a higher possibility than a lot of the things in this review period. How I Met Your Mother. So another sitcom. This design, I think, is a bit too like niche now. I mean, How I Met Your Mother is definitely more popular than Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I think this build is something that's like, okay, this is not like anything super iconic in terms of like the Seinfeld apartment or the actual office itself of The Office. And I also think that the show is probably the edgiest out of all the sitcoms of The Office, of Big Bang Theory. It's probably on the level maybe of Big Bang Theory a bit, maybe a little bit higher than that, of you know, even Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince is definitely tamer than like The Office and Big Bang Theory, and it's probably on the level of like Seinfeld, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think this one has a very high possibility. Art of Japan. I mean, this is the second time we're seeing this. I do think this is just such a beautiful build. There's a possibility there, but I'm not sure how much they want to make a build of like this flag in the background and everything. They're kind of weird about putting flags in sets, but it's not something that's unheard of. I mean, you know, we got those postcard sets, but I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off judgment there. I think this is a beautiful build, but I don't know. Speaking of which, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We are just talking about that. This one I think has a higher possibility than The Holiday. I still don't think they'll make it. Home Alone house is like that made sense. I mean, even back then when I was doing a review like this video, I said that wouldn't be made, but I think that is a build that is so iconic. It's such a core part of the movie. The National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation house, you could put that on the shelf and people might be like, wait, what is that exactly? Where is that from? Maybe I'm totally off base there. And I would love this, but I don't think it'll be made. Grand Central Station. I like the idea here. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful build, and it's a very iconic terminal. Is that the right word for it? Terminal? I mean, yeah, I like what's going on here, but I don't know if this is something that will be made because it is so big. It is so big, and I don't know if they're ready to make a train station for LEGO Ideas. I think that might be something so specific for such a high price. I would love it, though. I mean, it doesn't seem like the, what is it called? The train set, you know, whatever that one is, the Orient Express, right? I don't think that one sold too well, so maybe they're going to cool off of these train LEGO Idea sets, but maybe that's a total misjudgment of me. The Griswold Family Christmas Vacation House. This is crazy. There's another National Lampoon's Vacation House. I think this build is beautiful as well. I love the snow there, but again, same reasons. I don't think they'll make it because it's not as iconic as, say, Home Alone house. But yeah, maybe there's a chance there. Maybe I'm totally off base. Scooby-Doo Ravenwood's Mansion. Oh, I would love this. This could be a way for them to bring back Lego Scooby-Doo. I mean, the design of this is so pretty. I mean, look at that. They've done idea sets where they bring back some old properties. You know, Sonic is one, you could say. And this way they can nail out the Mystery Machine. I don't know if the Ravenwood Mansion is as iconic, though. And maybe they would just want to do a Mystery Machine set. Like, if somebody should just try to resubmit a Mystery Machine minifigure scale set, it would probably get approved, honestly. I mean, somebody submitted, like, a large-scale one, or a couple people did. It got approved, so maybe somebody should get another stab at that, because it doesn't seem like LEGO will deny it or anything. I would love to see this, but I don't know if they would want to put such a big structure with that Mystery Machine as a set to be sold on its own. Gilmore Girls Stars Hollow. I don't think Gilmore Girls has the recognizability in its build, and even as a property nowadays, to get a LEGO Idea set so soon, but maybe I am totally wrong there. That's by Brick and Nick, who's a cool person. Stonewall National Monument, New York, USA. This is a very cool build. I love this. I love the flags and everything. No way LEGO is making this for reasons I stated before. It seems like LEGO is really kind of lowering the queer representation. This is something that's queer and even more controversial because it's based off of the Stonewall riots and everything that happened in that whole thing in regards to police brutality and things like that. And I would love this to be made, but yeah, as a queer person, I don't feel represented by LEGO at all. But yeah, they've really scaled back on all of that stuff, and I don't think this is going to change with something that is such a controversial part of American history that, like, you know, classes won't even cover this type of stuff, which is so sad. And I wish they would make this, but LEGO is not on our sides with queer stuff. They've totally they released those 2 sets back in the day. They haven't done anything since, unless you count the Keith Haring one, which was, you know, on a surface level, not specific to queer culture from the outside viewer, but something with pride flags. They're going to throw a whole fit with that. So they'd rather make money than, you know, actually represent queer people. I feel like that came off mean, but sorry, LEGO's a corporation. What do you want me to say? Paddington Bear. I would love a LEGO Paddington Bear. You know, Paddington 2, good movie. The design of this is very detailed for this blocky interpretation of Paddington. I really love how this came out. Like, this is an awesome style to capture a Paddington Bear. I like the little diorama there. Just in case you didn't know who it was, they even say Paddington at the top. I think this one has like a medium possibility. Like, I don't think this is the most unlikely thing. Unfortunately, I know the most recent Paddington movie didn't really do too well, and that might hold it back a bit, but who knows. Pixar's Pizza Planet truck. I love how it's not even Toy Story at this point. It's just Pixar. Hey, I want a D2C Pizza Planet truck, and this could be the answer. I mean, this design looks lovely. We've gotten a Pizza Planet minifigure scale truck before, if you could count that as minifigure scale. the design of this is something that would make a beautiful display piece. And again, it goes beyond Toy Story. I think this has a shot. I actually think this has a shot because it doesn't seem like Lego wants to do this as a D2C icon set on their own. Mary Poppins, Back to Cherry Lane. I'd love to get a Lego Mary Poppins set. I don't know if the property has so much relevance nowadays, unfortunately. I mean, it's a huge part of history in movies, for Disney movies especially, but it just doesn't get talked about as much nowadays, and I think Lego might be like, okay, yeah, we don't want to do that. If it was maybe a completely animated thing, like Snow White, maybe it had a possibility, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem like it's in the pop culture zeitgeist as much, so I don't think that has much of a possibility. The World of Studio Ghibli, so this is the last one. I would love a Lego Studio Ghibli set so much. They've denied previous idea sets of Studio Ghibli movies. Don't think this is going to be made because of that, because it seems like there's rights issues about making Studio Ghibli toys in certain parts of the world that Lego is going to be holding off of this one. I mean, recently, there's been mumblings that Pokemon won't even be available in certain countries, which is crazy. The Lego Pokemon theme coming out next year. I really hope that's figured out. But yeah, I think there's just too many license ties up with this Studio Ghibli property that I don't think they'll be able to do it, but who knows. Whew, that was a lot of sets. I feel like I went very fast on some of these, but yeah, I don't want to go on too long about like 54 projects. Let me know which of all these is your favorites, which ones you think is the most likely, if you agree or disagree, because I'm sure, again, I said some stupid stuff in this video. Don't take any of it to heart, and respect to all of the people who've made these projects and submitted them and got to 10,000 supporters. We'll see how much Lego approves, because sometimes they'll approve little, sometimes they'll approve a couple sets. We'll see how much get to the parking lot where they're like, okay, maybe we'll make this or not. Subscribe here for more honest Lego takes, and I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.